What's in your wallet? Well, if it's Discover, then it is also Capital One. Hear about the merger recently approved by the Justice Department.
The White House has released a new site with talks of a COVID-19 lab leak coming out of China. We tell you more about its origins.
This Sunday marks the end of Holy Week for Christians, as many throughout the nation will be celebrating Easter, the latest on the festivities and a way that Kent State is celebrating. All of these stories and more as KSTV starts right now.
This is Kent Stater TV.
All of Portage County, welcome to your KSTV News at 6 o'clock. I'm Joe Malbin.
And I'm Evan Schofield. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Are you sad you can't hunt for Easter eggs anymore? Well, don't worry. The Flash Activities Board, or FAB, is hosting an Eggstravaganza event where students can hunt for eggs campus-wide. Prizes consist of a Lego Polaroid, an iPad, a Stanley Cup, and more. The event is next Tuesday, April 22nd from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in collaboration with over 20 student organizations, including some within downtown Kent.
And it's Easter weekend, and that means sobriety checkpoints have popped up all over. This includes Summit and Stark counties, where the OVI task forces placed the checkpoints. As of April 7th of this year, 2,267 operating a vehicle impaired relative crashes have occurred in Summit County in the past 5 years. 134 were fatal. They will be active tonight through tomorrow morning, and the Sheriff's Office says to drive safe, smart, and sober.
It's not a bird nor a plane, but it might be a new statue of the Man of Steel. A group led by Gary Kaplan, a relative of Superman's creator Jerry Siegel, is putting forth an effort to launch a statue and tribute in Cleveland to the superhero. In 1933, Superman was created in Cleveland, Ohio, and after years of trying to get the statue set up in the land, Kaplan expects it to be put up in a few months.
Your first forecast on Kent Stater TV.
Say hello to good weather and hi Portage County. Is this finally the end of the second winter of Ohio? There's a weather advisory for Portage County. There's so many questions that we have. Well, I have the answer to all of your questions. First, we finally got some good weather. 79 degrees, partially cloudy, partially sunny, which is nice. It seems like the winter weather is finally over, and today there's an increased risk of wildfires, so there is a weather advisory. So if you are in heavy areas of trees and brush, watch out when you spark up, because there's 16-mile-per-hour winds, and there will be a UV index of 2. So the hot air plus the high winds will be increased risk of wildfires. Looking into the hourly forecast, at 6 p.m., it's 78 degrees with 0% chance of rain. At 9, it'll go down to 72, and the lowest it'll get today, 70 degrees at midnight. Sounds pretty good to me. And tonight, there will be no rain. It'll be peaceful. It'll be nice and sunny, and that'll be it. For tomorrow, there will be rain and thunderstorms. With 68 degrees, it will be partially cloudy. With a low of 44, it'll get down to 44, but 68 is still a lot higher than we've had recently. There will be, the chance of rain is at 76%, and along with the rain will come thunderstorms. Showers will end at night. It'll only be afternoon rain, and the wind will be up to 15 miles per hour, so the storm will be pretty heavy. The weather looks pretty good so far, but will it stay that way? Good thing I'll be back later to show you the weather for the rest of the week.
Thank you, Trent. A student was arrested yesterday who assaulted a 55-year-old teacher with a Stanley Cup. That teacher went to the hospital following the incident as police were called to the scene surrounding a fight at 8 a.m. The student struck the teacher as well as another student included in the fight. Akron police say this 16-year-old was charged with felonious assault and disorderly conduct.
Two parents in Canton were sentenced to prison after pleading guilty to manslaughter yesterday. In June of 2024, Eric Rush and Ty-Asia Singleton were charged with felony counts of permitting child abuse and endangering children in the death of Royale Rush, their son. The judge sentenced the pair to 14 to 19 and a half years in prison.
Wednesday, a Franklin County deputy was arrested based on an accusation of running a red light, fleeing an officer at over 100 miles per hour. The officer's name, Robert Lampkin, who also refused to use a turn signal. Lampkin claims he works for the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, but did not confirm he was in pursuit of anyone. Lampkin committed a third-degree felony and has been placed on unpaid administrative leave.
Governor Mike DeWine has ordered certain flags throughout the state to be at half-mast. The move was done in order to honor Tri-Community Fire District firefighter John Sanders, who passed away fighting a house fire in Willard on Wednesday. The flags in Huron County and the State House in Columbus will be at half-mast until the sunset of the day of Sanders' funeral.
It's almost time for our weekly roundup, where we highlight a member of Kent State student media and their work here in Franklin Hall.
President Trump has again posted that he wants Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell to be fired. Hear about the reasons why and Powell's response.
Amen.
Say with me, imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, have a good time. Planting seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic. To change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. And make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Is it okay over there? Is that good?
Jackie boy, look, we have been through a lot together.
Dry up before this rain, this rain goes away.
Well, it's just,
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Your community.
Your stories.
Well, this week's edition of our weekly roundup is going to be a little different. Today we are joined by Audio and Entertainment Director of Black Squirrel Entertainment and one-time Tuesday anchor, Anthony Fariga. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for being on today.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me.
So, tell me a little about Black Squirrel Entertainment and what do you guys do?
Yeah, so Black Squirrel Entertainment is our entertainment division of Kent State Student Media. So we do all of the entertainment shows here on KSTV along with Black Squirrel Radio. We also have podcasts that play on our station and on our website too. Basically, anything that's not news content is kind of like where all of that lives here in student media.
And could you tell me a little bit about the shows?
Yeah, so actually if you were watching our commercial break, we had little of those TV ads that played. So I will start with The Blurb that airs every Tuesday at 8 p.m. That's a show where our members will talk about like Hollywood drama, fashion, gossip, like all that kind of jazz. On Wednesday, we have All Systems Go. It is a show about nerd culture, video games, movies, anime, comic books, you name it. Thursdays are Grab Bag. That is our sketch comedy show, kind of like a knockoff like Saturday Night Live kind of dealio. All the hee-hees and ha-has, if you will. On Fridays, like today, we have two shows actually. We have The College Voice that airs at 1 p.m. It is a show where we have college students just kind of talk about their experiences like being a college student and like our thoughts on whatnot. And then later tonight, on Fridays, we have Ken Core, which is our live music show where they will bring in bands to perform a set and do an interview, which you should tune in at 9 p.m. tonight. They have a band called the Barricade Baby, I think is what it is. Awesome. And then we also have a food show called Food Flash that airs every Sunday at noon.
Awesome. And is there anything you'd like to promote? Anything big coming up real quick?
Yes, two things. We have a concert tomorrow at the Rothskeller, a band called formerly Candace. And then on May 4th, we will have a film festival where you can see some awesome Kent State student-made films.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anthony.
Yes, thank you.
The White House has released a new website with claims of the lab leak theory behind the COVID pandemic. People were previously directed to a site with more scientific information on the actual pandemic, along with a link to order COVID-19 tests. They are now sent to a site that says lab leak. Many claim this is a way to direct negative sentiment towards China, where the virus originated due to the ongoing trade war.
The University of Harvard has seen a large amount of donations following a federal funding freeze for the school, according to Harvard School newspaper. These donations came after the university refused to abandon diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and reform admission prices. The total donations are up to around $1 million, and the university received 4,000 online donations in less than 48 hours.
Thursday night, Senator Chris Van Hollen met with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man from Maryland mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele claims Garcia will stay in custody of El Salvador following the meeting.
They're trying to make this case about Kilmar all about MS-13, when in fact the judge in the case has said they've not provided substantial or any significant evidence to back up their claim.
Some deem this miraculous based on where he was at prior to the meeting. The senator declined to provide any more details as a full readout was given today.
President Trump's trade restrictions continue to roll in as the administration is imposing new port fees on Chinese ships. These fees will be charged to all Chinese-owned and built ships. The prices will be imposed depending on the net weight of what goods are carried on board. The government also stated that these fees could be raised in the coming years.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said today that the United States should end attempts to end the conflict in Ukraine if there are no signs of progress. He told reporters in Paris that if it is not possible to end the war, the U.S. will need to move on. President Trump also commented in agreement with Rubio, but did not specify a time frame as to when the United States could potentially walk away.
Keeping you informed and ahead of the storm, this is your KSTV weather.
Well, today's warm weather means spring is officially in season, and that means daffodils are as well. Summit Metro Parks announced Friday that thousands of them are expected to be or close to peak bloom by next week, having their own 0.8-mile trail. This is also an effort to preserve the trail's namesake flowers while supporting local wildlife with native plant species. The trail opens at 4 on weekdays.
We now go to the latest on weather with our meteorologist, Trent Branchin.
Trent, what do you have for us?
Joe, I got a ton of weather to show you. So let's get right into it. And looking at Ohio, we got Toledo at 84 degrees, Cincinnati at 82, Columbus at 81. Around here in Akron-Canton is where the weather advisory is going to be, where not to light anything in high density areas with forests at 79 degrees. Down here at Athens, 85 degrees, and over there in Pittsburgh it will be 84 degrees. Everywhere is mostly sunny besides Akron and Canton. Looking into northeast Ohio, we got Cleveland at 81 degrees, Sandusky a little colder at 80, same thing with Mansfield and Worcester, Akron Canton at 79, Kent at 79, Youngstown at 80, Asheville at 78. Everything is also pretty warm, so you can wear shorts, t-shirt. Should be good weather all around Ohio. Looking into the 10-day forecast. Tomorrow, it will be 68 degrees with a high, low of 44. There will be some rain tomorrow, so bring out your jackets. Sunday, it'll get down to 63, which isn't too bad based on the weather we've been having. Monday, it's going to get back up into the 70s at 71 degrees. We're not going to have too much snow. We're not going to have too much sun this week. We're going to have mostly cloudy days with 63 degrees, 73 degrees, low of 44, low of 50. High of 77 on Thursday will be the high of the week. And Friday will end with 72 degrees and 55. It was real, it was fun, and it was real fun. Now it's time for me to go enjoy some vitamin D. From KSTV, I'm Trent Branchin. Back to you guys at the news desk.
Thank you, Trent. We now go to the latest affecting consumers this evening.
Our KSTV correspondent Bristol Powell has the latest on everything from a Capital One merger to Google being labeled a monopoly. Good evening, Bristol.
Good evening, guys, and that's right. Today I will be talking about how the business world is faring, starting off with a major merger in the credit industry. The Justice Department has approved of Capital One and Discover's business merger. This will result in Capital One gaining 300 million credit card holders from Discover. If the merger goes through, it could reduce Visa and MasterCard holds on consumer credit card payments. Critics have argued the merger would increase fees and credit costs to consumers. Whether this claim is true or not has not been confirmed. President Donald Trump has doubled down in his efforts to remove Fed Chair Jerome Powell with a post on social media saying his termination can't come soon enough. Powell and other chair members have argued that with these new tariffs, they're in uncharted waters and need time to work through the challenges the tariffs have presented. As of now, Powell says that President Trump cannot legally fire a Fed chair member, and he will finish out his current term. The new Nintendo Switch is set to release for pre-order around April 24th. The company has announced due to newly implemented tariffs, the price on accessories will increase. The company has raised prices on things like games, controllers, and camera equipment. The company's dock set and camera equipment will increase by about $5 to $10, and controllers will range to increase from $5 to $95 depending on the model. Google has been taken to court and found by a federal Virginia judge and the Justice Department to be illegally building monopoly power. The rule that Google has violated antitrust laws marks the company's second major court loss within less than 1 year. Google argued that the Department of Justice is flawed and would slow innovation, raise advertising fees, and will make it harder for small businesses and publishers to grow. Google will be likely fighting in courts for years before a final ruling has been made. From the KSTV studio, I am Bristol Powell.
The rubber match of their series. The bats were hot for the O's in Game 2. Find out what contributed to the series victory in Game 3.
Welcome to my block party. Glad you can make it.
I can do this all day. Your moves are just gay.
Using gay to mean dumb or stupid, not cool. Not in my house, not anywhere. It's not creative, it's offensive to gay people. And you're better than that.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper, you better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop, you got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
great thing about a hearing check? No one makes you drink weird stuff, or drills your teeth, or dilates your eyes. It's just soothing me time in a quiet booth. Then bam, you can do the happy dance, because you're all done.
Untreated hearing loss puts you at greater risk for depression and anxiety. So what's holding you back? Let's see a hearing professional and get those ears checked. And let's dance.
This is your Kent Stater TV Sports Report.
Welcome back. This past Sunday, the Cleveland Cavaliers played their last game of the regular season, and this coming Sunday, they return in Game 1 of the first round in the NBA playoffs. The Cavs have a 64-18 record of the season, which is their best as a franchise without LeBron James. They are the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference as well. The last time they held the 1 seed, they went on to win the NBA championship. Joe, I would love to know your thoughts on this.
You know, Evan, I'm a big Cavs fan,
Yeah.
and I think the Cavs are going to go all the way to the finals. They're going to beat the Thunder in 6 games. I'm calling it right now. Evan, what about you?
Yeah, Joe, I agree. I don't know if they make the finals, but they definitely get past round 1, and it definitely is going to be a shakeup.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Our sports anchor, Sophia Sonato, is here. Sophia, what do you think about the Cavs odds?
You know, I'm really pulling for them because they've had such a strong season, and these other teams that they've been going up against are really teams that you're going to see in the finals, like the Thunder and the Boston Celtics. So I'm really hoping that they will pull through to the finals and take it all. But as much as I love talking basketball, I'm here to give you the details around the Diamond. So let's get started with Kent State softball. The Kent State softball team is back at home at the Devine Diamond as they host the NIU Huskies tomorrow in a doubleheader. After securing a win against Buffalo on Wednesday, the Flashes enter this one with an 8-32 record. The Huskies come into this series with a 15-22 with 9 wins in the MAC Conference. The game starts at 1 p.m. for Senior Day. Moving into the baseball team, they were active at Schoonover Stadium yesterday as they welcomed in the Ohio Bobcats for their weekend series. The Flashes took a commanding lead early in the game with a Jake Casey home run, then proceeded to score 10 runs throughout the first 3 innings. They would eventually tack on a few more runs and defeat the Bobcats in a 7-inning mercy rule by a final score of 14-3. The fun was not over yet, though, because after their win yesterday, the Golden Flashes took the field against Ohio University once more. The game finished after only 6 innings this time, mercy ruling the Bobcats 14-2. Luke Matthews, Hayden Jatsak, Hunter Klotz, and Ripken Reitz each scored a run in the first 4 innings. Then our Golden Flashes continued to do what they do best and add more wins into the column. This series against the Bobcats will conclude with a game tomorrow at 1 p.m. Now let's head out of Kent, Ohio, as I'm going to be taking you to Baltimore, Maryland. The Cleveland Guardians took on the Baltimore Orioles for the last game of this series. Starting us off in the bottom of the first is shortstop Gunnar Henderson. He hits a deep home run out to left field and starts the scores off right. The Guardians heard this call to get some wins in the column, and they answered. Daniel Schneemann, the second baseman for the Guardian, hit a home run to center field in the top of the third, tying it up right there 1-1. Right behind him, Austin Hedges was not far. The catcher, he hits another home run out to left field and gives the Guardians the only lead for this game, 2-1. In the span of 3 innings, pitcher Tanner Bybee lost 6 runs. You can see here, Ryan O'Hearn in the bottom of the third goes out to right field for that home run and gets the score tied up once more with another man on second and third. So going into the bottom of the 6th, you can see that score has jumped up from 2-1 to 4-2. And Heston Kiersted, the left fielder, goes out to left field and gets the score finalized 6-2 Baltimore. And, you know, this game did not end well for the Guardians. However, they are looking ahead to a series against the Pittsburgh Pirates at PNC Park. If you're looking for more details in the sports world, though, you can tune into Overtime, which airs tonight at 7 right here on KSTV. From the Franklin Hall studio, I'm Sophia Sonato.
Well, La La Land and Barbie star Ryan Gosling has been cast to be a new part of the movie franchise. We give you the details on his new Lucasfilm casting.
Today, the world could use a little more understanding. Understanding nurtured by shared values. We come together at Kent State. Different dreams, different viewpoints, united by purpose. Preparing to make a difference in our divided world. Wherever you are in your life's journey, come learn with us. Begin at Kent State.
Did you know that children growing up with poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children that grow up with good air quality? And unfortunately, poor communities have poor air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this. Today, the IQ Air Foundation provides filtration technology to schools with poor air quality through our Clean Air for Kids program. Our goal is to help over 50,000 school children every year breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, helping to level the playing field, reduce barriers to learning, reduce sick days, and increase test scores. Mitigating poor air quality is key to environmental justice. Help Clean Air for Kids reach more children at IQAirFoundation.org.
Every year, 4.5 million young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 visit the ER.
It's every parent's nightmare.
Umergency gives you all the tools you need to quickly and effectively manage your family's emergency. Umergency provides instant access to vital resources, customized to your student's campus and local community, digital consent form, and built-in urgent alert button. Umergency gives you peace of mind when you need it most. Download your Umergency app now.
250 years since Paul Revere had his legendary ride through Boston, warning that the British were coming. Now, in commemoration of the historic ride, two men are planning on making the journey. Actor Michael LePage will be portraying Revere on foot, while First Sergeant Matthew Johnson of the National Lances will portray Revere by horseback.
Are you a fan of Ryan Gosling? I am, and he will soon be coming to a galaxy far, far away. It was just confirmed Gosling has been casted in Star Wars Starfighter, a new Star Wars film directed by Sean Levy. This was announced at the annual Star Wars celebration held in Japan. This movie will take place approximately 5 years after the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. This film is set to hit theaters in May 2027.
Well, today is Good Friday, which means this coming Sunday is Easter Sunday, the holiday which marks the end of the Christian Holy Week, which is the week leading up to the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Millions of people will dye eggs for Easter, a tradition that is rumored to stem back to when the Virgin Mary gave eggs to the soldiers guarding Jesus while he was on the cross, according to Polish folklore. Well, Evan, it's going to be a good Easter, but that looks like all the time we have for you tonight. For more news and updates, visit kentstater.com. I'm Joe Malbin.
And I'm Evan Schofield. Have a great night, Portage County, and Happy Easter.
Can you help me?
What you got there?
Will you help my mom?
Hey, crew, I'll give the first move to anyone who signs up to be an organ donor. How do you do it?
Easy. Just go to organdonor.gov.
More donors means more hope. Sign up at organdonor.gov.
At Kent State University, we want all students to develop a global perspective. And with more than 200 study abroad programs in 60 countries, there are many opportunities. One is found in the Central African country of Rwanda, where students connect with survivors of the 1994 genocide.
We're learning about the reconciliation process. Rwanda sort of took a very community-based approach to how they recovered.
In January, a group of Kent State student athletes traveled to Rwanda, where they organized a soccer camp for children.
While we were there, we got to work with kids and spread our knowledge about sports.
And we brought shoes, cleats, soccer balls for everybody.
It was a transformational experience.
The people of Rwanda were full of joy. They were also full of excitement and life.
I think the big thing that I'm going to take home personally from the experience is perspective. There's not just one way to do things.
This was unlike any other academic experience I've ever had.
You crank it and the beat just moves you right down the hallway. Why not? It doesn't hurt anyone, but listening too long and too loud can actually hurt your hearing. Excessive volume in earbuds, stadiums, and at concerts, even loud machinery, can damage hearing in just 15 minutes.
1 in 5 people 12 years and older now has some kind of hearing loss. So see a hearing professional and let's get those ears checked and boogie on.